Hey, so today we're going to discuss whether the current modern education is still relevant to the students and also relevant to people who are still going through the education system right now because uh, there are certain changes to the technology landscape at the moment. Like, for example, there is AI, artificial intelligence that is coming up, and then there is cryptocurrency that many people are investing in because they think that it is going to make them rich. So amidst all these kind of changes, right, it seems like a lot of people are starting to think that formal education is becoming less relevant in the modern age. So maybe we can just talk about whether we should, in what aspect of education we can improve on, and whether or not we can keep some of these elements, or maybe just discard some of these elements. So we'll just discuss about this.
Well, I would say that the education has to change in order to cater to the changes in the market as well. As you have rightfully said, there are some upcoming artificial intelligence, and in fact, it is not upcoming, it is already implemented in many industries, and it is reshaping how industries are being work in industries are being played out at the moment. Then, of course, you also rightly brought up that there's cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of potential in cryptocurrency. Therefore, there's a lot of potential for people in cryptocurrency to make some money. But that doesn't mean that it is going to change the way work is going to. It may change the way work is going to be shaped, but I don't think that this will affect education as per se. So I think that education is still relevant, but maybe we still have to make some changes to it.
The reason why I brought up that education has to change because I think that artificial intelligence is really changing how people are doing their work. For example, many people are already starting to use things like ChatGPT to help them to do their work. And this, in fact, helps them to improve their productivity. Then, on the other side of the coin, you also have people who are using artificial intelligence module to help them to design. So this also helps to free up a lot of time. So, what is happening in the schools right now is that the syllabus that are being taught is still the same. They are not changing. And at the same time, right, we have teachers and educators who are also learning how to use artificial intelligence. So they are learning how to use, but at the same time, they are also trying to teach. So in a way, they are learning at the same time with the student, and they cannot learn fast enough to teach the student. In some cases, the students even learn faster than them. So I think that there must be something that we must do in order to make education more relevant for the students right now.
Actually, I think that this is just because we are focusing at this point of time right now where the change is happening. That's why we think that maybe education and the educators, they are not adequately prepared to teach the students. So, because at this point we have artificial intelligence that is being rolled out progressively in various industries, and the educators, they are also learning together with the students at the same time about this new technology. Therefore, teachers and educators right now, they may not be in time to teach the current batch of students about artificial intelligence. But as time goes on, right, I think that the educators and the teachers, they would be sufficiently trained in this domain that is using artificial intelligence to perform certain kind of work. So when the next batch of students, they come in for their education, right, for their classes, the educators, they will be more prepared to teach them. Then in this case, right, I would say that the system would not, that this is not about changing the education structure, more about teachers adapting to the changes right now so that they can teach the students in time. So unfortunately, the students who are in the current batch, who are learning at the same time with the teachers, they may not benefit as much. but I'm sure they will be able to learn faster. But as for the upcoming batches, right, the teachers would have sufficient learn, like what I've said earlier, and they can help the students to shortcut the learning, so they can learn about artificial intelligence better, and the educators can carry out their work better. So I think the point is, when we talk about changes in education, we should talk about whether certain degrees or certain education about work domain, right, do we still have to teach them? For example, let's say we have degree in certain industries that are seriously going to be phased out, from my point of view. For example, coding, all right. So do you think that we should phase out degrees in coding, education in coding, because it seems like artificial intelligence is going to be taking over this coding work?
Yeah, so this is the thing that I'm really concerned about. That is, there are certain subjects in school that will eventually lead to certain kind of work. For example, like what you have said, software engineering, coding. So if you learn about coding, then most likely you will specialize in doing coding when you come out to work. But at the same time, coding is being taken over by AI, and we can see that there is a lot of concerns in the market among software engineers that their jobs will be taken over. So at this point of time, right, we are seeing all this kind of concern. But the students who are learning about all these things, right, they should be even more concerned, because by the time they graduate, the market would have changed in such a way that this industry will no longer be there, and all the work will be taken over by AI. So if this is the case, right, what should educators do right now in order to prepare the students for the future? And at the same time, right, the teachers, they themselves will be replaced because they do not know what is going to happen in the future. So this is something that we should explore further.
There will be some changes to the industries, and there has to be changes to the education system as well, so that it can keep up with the changes in the industry, so that they can keep the students prepared for the future. But I don't think that we have to demolish certain parts of the system. In fact, I think that all we have to do is just to revise certain parts of the system. So we keep majority of what's going on, but there are certain parts that have to be revised in order to keep the students updated. And I think that to send educators and to send teachers to the industry for a short stint will be a good idea, but I don't think it's very productive method, because when you take away the teacher or the educator from his or her job, right, it actually disrupts the students' learning. What I feel is a better choice is for continuously to send students for internships. So during the internship, they will be exposed to what the industries are learning. And what is going on right now is that when students, they go for internship, they will actually have to write a report, maybe a weekly report, on what is going on in the company, and they have to report back to the supervisor. And the supervisor in this case most likely will be the teacher or the tutor or the educator, right? So when you send several of your students to different industries and have them to write report about what is going on in the industry, then you will learn at a very high level about what is going on. Therefore, you can adapt your syllabus accordingly to keep the rest of the students updated. So what I feel that can be done well is this particular portion whereby we send students for internship, so we can train students in such a way that they should write the report to exactly detail down what is the process, what exactly have they learned on their internship, and what exactly the technologies that they are using. So the educators, the supervisors, they can read the reports and then they can adapt accordingly. So I think that this will be a more productive method to changing the syllabus, certain parts of the syllabus, and I feel that there is no need to entirely, for example, let's say for software coding, right? There's no need to entirely delete away the entire subject. So based on the report, we have to revise. Maybe we have to learn how to use artificial intelligence to generate the codes and how to tie the codes that are being generated by the artificial intelligence instead of directly learning how to code everything from scratch. So this is one way that I feel can be made to be strengthened in order to help educators to keep on track.
We have software coders that are being let go, and a lot of them will not be able to find jobs in the future. Then before this, we have a lot of writers and filmmakers, animators that are being let go as well, because artificial intelligence is taking over their job. So AI is able to animate to a sufficiently good quality at the moment, and I believe that it's going to get better. And writers, they are also, AI is writing better as well. So I think that the future LLM is going to make writers' job even more difficult and more will be let go. So we talk about all these things, right? That clearly is an impact on things that are creative, that depends on creativity. Okay, so a lot of people say that if you are creative, then you can survive in the future. But what about those people who are studying the STEM subjects, like for example, people who are specializing in sciences, mathematics, and so on? Will they be able to grab a foothold in the future?
I think that software coding and software engineering will actually be even more important in the future because you see, a lot of this LLM are actually open source, and we currently have a lot of builders and software coders who are actually building on top of these open source projects. And my thinking is that I suspect that a lot of these software coders don't really understand how LLM works, but they are building on top of this open source project. So it seems like they are starting everything from scratch. So it is very important to know about the fundamentals of artificial intelligence. But in this case, of course, I'm talking about LLM, and there are other forms of artificial intelligence as well, like, visually, the artificial intelligence that works with the visual components, the motion components, and other kinds of decision making, for example, in movements as well. So LLM, which is the articulation of thoughts, is merely just one aspect of it. There are still many aspects of it. So I think that software coders, software engineers, they must be able to grasp and understand even deeper how things are being done, how artificial is being done, and their skill will be even much more needed in the future. So what I think is that in the future, the software coders that are mediocre and the average software engineers, those are the ones who will really be weeded out. But the rest, and leaving the elite ones, the ones that can really go deep, the ones who really are good in mathematics. So we're talking about sciences in this case, and mathematics. So software coders who are really grounded, really strongly on mathematics, sciences, all kinds of science, physics, laws, and so on. So they are able to ingrain all this knowledge within themselves and then integrate within software, express it through software engineering, then bringing to life through applications. So I think that these are very important. It will not be eliminated. In fact, the elite ones will be even more treasured in the future.
Okay, so that was a really good chat about how artificial intelligence is going to affect education in the future. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Tuition Near Me, your number one portal for everything that is related to education. See you at Tuition Near Me.